Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I wasn't sure if I wanted to just stay home, make some content for the vlog, edit the latest video. It was that, or option two was come play cards. And as you can tell, if you are currently watching this, we chose option two. So today we are at Thunder Valley. We're gonna jump into the 1-3 game. We're gonna try to run it up. Let's see what happens. We got our name on the list. Let's get it going. Welcome back everyone. So in this one, we're starting the game shorthanded. We're gonna have an open limp to $3. And I'm gonna look down at King 10 of spades and the hijack. The plan here is to go ahead and isolate this and hopefully get this pot heads up with this player. But that is exactly what does not happen. We're gonna wind up picking up 3 callers here. So I have 40% of a royal flush and I am in position for the most part except for the button. So I feel pretty good about it. We're going to see a good flop for our hand. We have top pair, backdoor spades. We also have some backdoor straight possibilities. We have a lot of good stuff going on in this hand, so we're just going to c-bet for value. We bet 25, and the action's going to fold around to the initial limper who's going to decide to continue. So with the 110 in, we're going to see the turn, which is the queen of clubs. So the action's going to quickly go check, check, which I actually think is a mistake now that I'm looking at it. I definitely picked up some more equity. A jack would have gave me a straight. I also probably could have got some more value. Now that we see the river, which is the ace of spades, I think I'm kind of handcuffed here and I'm kind of forced to check, as what can I really get paid off from now? So I roll over my king, and this player chuckles and flips over the king of diamonds and mucks. And I think that just kind of reiterates my point that I missed some value on the turn there. I think he definitely would have paid off one more bet. The river probably would have still went check, check, but I definitely missed some value. Moving on to the next hand of the vlog. In this one, we're going to see a couple of limps. And I once again look down at King 10. This time it's in the offsuit variety. So I'm definitely going to be isolating here. This is way too good of a hand not to raise. And calling just opens me up to get dominated on certain boards. So I make it 30 to go on the button. And this is definitely a little bit bigger than I normally would make it, but I've been experimenting a little bit with some different raise sizes, depending on the villain, how the games are playing, just trying to see how I can get the most value in certain spots and really just try to push it when I have an edge. So the original limper is going to decide to come along and the next player is going to fold. So we're going to go heads up to a flop with about 65 in. That comes queen 3-5 rainbow. The action quickly checks to me and I just c-bet half pot, hopefully wanting just to take this down right now. It's not a great board for me, but it's also probably not great for my opponent. When he quickly comes along, it's not great. But as I pick up some showdown value on the turn with a 10, I decide to check it back. And then I just drill the river with another 10. And this player decides to just jam all in. I snap it off and I'm obviously good with my trip 10s. And he rolls over ace queen, so I sucked out on him definitely there, but he got a little weird with the jam. I'm not sure what he really wanted to be called by, that he was actually beating in that spot. Really feels like he was only going to get called by something that had him beat, so I think he was more frustrated due to the fact that I've been very active in this session and I have been getting out of line, and I think he saw a couple hands and I think he just decided to make a stand. As we move into the next hand of the vlog, at this point, I'm definitely starting to feel it a little bit. I am definitely the most aggressive player at this table, and I'm pretty much doing whatever I want to do, and nobody's playing back at me. It's actually pretty crazy. So literally this session has pretty much been the same thing over and over. rinse and repeat. So in this one, I'm going to look down at ace-4 of spades, and we're going to get a early limp. And once again, I'm going to isolate here to 20. And for the very first time today, something odd's going to happen. I'm actually going to get re-raised here by the button to 50. So a very small re-raise, which screams strength. This is actually the first re-raise I think this player has put in all session. But to be honest with you, I'm starting to kind of feel it a little bit, and I want to give some action to the table. So we kind of go over some dialogue, and he says if I want to call, we'll check it down, which probably means he has a very big pair, but he tells me he doesn't have aces, so I know I'm live. So just to give him some action, I know he's probably way ahead. I go ahead and make the call, and we're just going to run it out. So we're going to flip up the cards, and he does show me pocket king, so indeed we are live. So let's see if we can spike here. And unfortunately, we do not, even though we pair up on the 4. The kings are going to hold and take it down. So in this one, we're going to be in middle position here, as we're going to peel back a premium as I look down at pocket aces. So the action is going to be very familiar with everything else that's happened, as we're going to have an early limp, and I'm definitely going to be isolating this up, and I make it $25 to go. So the action is going to fold around to the other side of the table, and we're going to get one player who's going to call us, which is this player right here, who is already on tilt against me, and I know he is trying to get me back. So this is a great situation for us, as we have the best starting hand in the game. So we indeed flop a monster here, as we flop top set on ace-9-5 rainbow. This player checks to me, and now I just decide to size up to 50. I figure I'm pretty much just going to pot it here. He either has something he wants to go with or he doesn't. And he's probably just tired of me, so he's going to want to get it in. So I really hope this player decides to just move all in. He is on massive tilt, even though you can't see him. He is still very steamy from the hand that we played, and he also saw my ace-4 hand earlier. But he decides to call, which is still fine, and we see a turn, which is the king of spades. So he's going to check again to me, and now I just insta-jam here for a little bit more than pot because the stacks are a little bit odd, and he snap calls. And we're going to see a river, which is the 5 of diamonds. So we upgrade to a full house. And this player is going to flip over pocket 9s for a smaller full house. This was definitely a cooler spot. Set over set, full house over full house. So the money was always going to get in. This hand pretty much played itself. And I definitely ran super hot and got lucky versus this guy pretty much all session. So moving on to the next hand of the session. In this one, I'm playing a little short-handed, and the action is going to fold to me, and I'm going to open the 15, and I'm going to pick up 2 callers here, one of them being the hijack, and the other one being the big blind who's going to complete. So we're going to see this flop 3 ways, and it's going to come pretty well for my actual hand, as it's going to come king deuce 10 with 2 clubs. So first to act is actually just going to insta-muck, which is always nice. And I'm going to check to the hijack, not because I'm scared, but because I've seen the hijack repeatedly bet, especially when he has nothing when checked to. So I go ahead and do that here to try to lay the trap. And I am just going to go ahead and smooth call the $25 bet from the hijack. So we're going to see the turn, which is the 5 of clubs. Front door clubs now got there, but I'm not really worried because I saw this player actually take a different line with a flush draw earlier. So I go ahead and stick to my plan, hopefully that he's going to lead once again. And he must be reading my mind because this is just how I drew it up. He's going to go ahead and fire a second shell here, this time for $45. So once again, I'm just going to continue to call here. I don't really see any value in raising, as I'm only going to get value from something that probably beats me. So I think just smooth calling allows him to possibly fire another shell, especially when the pot is so big as we arrive to the river. I check one last time, hoping to give him a little bit more rope to blast off, but he quickly checks, and obviously I know I'm good, and we roll over the winner. So I'm actually really happy the way I played that. I think I got max value for my holding, and I've really been trying to pay more attention to the players and understand tendencies, and I think it really paid off in this spot, as I was able to make a very player-specific adjustment to try to maximize value. Moving on to the next hand of the vlog. In this one, this is actually the very next hand of the session, and we're going to be battling here with the player that we just played a hand with. So he's going to open the action to 11, and the action's going to fold around to me in the big blind, and I'm going to look down at ace jack offsuit. So this is just a clear cut all in. With his stack size, there's literally nothing else to do, so I go ahead and put him all in, and I should be ahead of his range, or at least flipping with some overs. And he indeed flips over pocket eights, and we're going to head to a run out. So we're going to hit our top pair, which is going to have our opponent in rough shape, and the turn and river are both clean for us. So we're going to go ahead and take down this small pot. And then I would go on a stretch where I would pick up some premium hands that I would get absolutely no action from. I picked up pocket 10s, I picked up ace queen, I even picked up ace king and couldn't get any action from anybody. So we've made it to the last hand of the vlog, and in this one we're gonna have an early limper for $3, and the action's gonna fold over to me as I look down at ace 10 offsuit, and I'm gonna put in a standard raise here as I most likely have the best hand, and the big blind's gonna decide to come along as he's gonna put in the call for the additional $13, and the first limper's gonna fold. So we're gonna go heads up to a flop that I actually miss pretty hard here. That's going to come 6, 5, 7, all spades. I wish I had the ace of spades in this spot, but I have the ace of clubs. And this player is not going to lead into me for $10. So the donk bet is kind of weird. So I go ahead and call, see if I could float here, see if I can spike or take it away later on, because it seems like a really weak bet. And the turn comes a 3 of hearts. It checks around. And now I actually pair up on the river as the 10 of hearts hits. So I'm going to go for value here. If he checks to me, I'm obviously going to be putting in a bet. And if he bets anything relative to the pot, I'm going to call. But he does something weird and just jams like $175 into this pot that only has $50 into it. But if he had a good hand, wouldn't he bet smaller? Why would he just raise all in? I'm never going to call him unless I have him beat. I don't know. I'm really confused. I don't know what this means. I can tell this player doesn't really play a lot by the way he stacks his chips. And this is the very first hand he's played in the entire session. So this can't be a bluff, right? I mean, he has to have it. Why would he just shove all in? He hasn't played a single pot all night. Could he just be spazzing out? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I do know that if you think long, you're going to think wrong. So I'm just going to fold here. And if you bluffed me, well, heck of a play and nice hand, sir. So the game started to slow down. And shortly after, I decided to rack up my chips and call it a night and book a nice win.
Hey, welcome back everyone. So just leaving the session here at Thunder Valley. I was in the game for 300, cashed out for 780, only played in the game for about 3 hours, so we'll definitely take it. If you guys enjoyed the vlog, as always, please consider giving me a like and a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And hit that notification bell to be in the loop when I drop the newest vlog. As always, thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.